Hi, we want to thank you for joining us this evening. Our goal is to provide you some fun, informative discussion on a variety of topics to feed your brain with. Imagine what it would feel like to be debt-free, optimum health, and have a job that you love going to every day. We want you to walk away from these episodes with the feeling of I can implement these small changes to make a big difference in my life. I'm grateful today for meeting Stephanie and collaborating with her on business. Stephanie is an inspired health and life coach, owner and founder of The Freedom to Live. And we had a little bit of a change tonight from our speakers from Gay, who is coming us next week. But I want to thank our next speaker for on the cuff joining us tonight. So let me introduce you to Joshua. He is Joshua Watson. He is a virtual assistant that can help you free up time so you're able to finish your day without having to worry whether everything was taken care of. He has over 15 years of experience in customer service and administration and can handle all of your day-to-day administrative needs. So welcome, Joshua. It's a pleasure to have you on this short notice.
Thank you for having me, ladies. It's great to meet you both.
Thank you, Joshua.
So let's start with, tell us about what you do and how you got here.
All right. Well, I am a virtual assistant, so I help people create free time. What they choose to do with that time is their business. Ideally, it will free you up to make more money, be more successful, or just provide you with more time to do the things that you want to do in life, whether it's a hobby, or it's spending more time with your kids, your grandkids, whatever the case may be. I'm here to take care of the mundane, boring things that we all ended up doing when we started our business and maybe didn't realize that we signed on for. Read somewhere that there are a number of hats that a business person wears when they become self-employed. And unfortunately for us, we're not experts at all of them. We sometimes forget that just because we're a small business, it doesn't mean that we can't bring someone in to help. So that's what I try to do for people, is help them clear away some of the mundane, boring things that they don't want to do or that take up too much of their time so that they can focus on creating the next service, creating the next product, whatever it happens to be that's going to propel them forward.
And I think that's a mistake that a lot of business owners make, is that they think, oh, they're going to do it all. Yes. And that takes away the time from the main priority of business. And Stephanie and I've discussed this on numerous occasions, to be in a financial position to get a virtual assistant. Because I will tell you, there are a lot of mundane tasks that I don't want to do anymore. I'm done with it and just can't wait to get to that point.
Absolutely. Whether it's managing your social media presence so that you have a consistent presence online, whether it is updating your CRM to include all the cards you pick up at a networking event, whether it's keeping QuickBooks up to date so that you know how much money you have. Whatever those little tasks are that you either don't enjoy or are not good at or are taking too much of your time, that's what I'm here to help.
That's awesome.
That's so important to know too, about what, not so much about the time, but what we're good at.
Right.
You know, in the beginning, I think we're trying to fill up all our day and all our time with all these different tasks, like you just mentioned. And there's only a certain number of hours in the day. But not only that, it's like, what am I good at?
Absolutely. What do I enjoy?
And what should I be focusing my time on?
Yes. We all got into business for ourselves for a reason. There was something we wanted. Either we wanted more time or we wanted to do something better than was being done in the market currently, or something. There's something that is a passion of ours when we start our business, and get burdened by all the extra stuff that we didn't know we had to take on. We have to become our own accountants. We have to become our own marketing department, sales department, advertising, name it. There's so many things that just pop up, and it's hard. It's really, really hard. And I really believe that any entrepreneur can succeed if they have the help they need.
Absolutely.
So how do entrepreneurs make that leap? I think that's the biggest thing that we struggle with in certainly the beginning years of entrepreneurship is like you go from taking on all the hats, all the responsibility, like you said, the accounts, the sales, the marketing, where originally we lose track of that initial why of why did I start this business, for the time, for the freedom, for the passion, for that gap in the market. And we kind of get stuck in this routine of just doing everything. And it's like almost taking that leap, that risk to just, a lot of it, what are those barriers that are holding people back from taking that next step?
The biggest one that I come across is actually people who say to me, "You're going to cost me money."
Yeah.
Well, that's very true. I love my life. I can't work for free. I need to pay bills. I need to pay my rent. So understanding what your hourly rate. It's understanding that, yes, I'm going to cost you some money, but let's say I'm updating books for you, and accounting is something you absolutely cannot stand. It's probably going to take you a day or 2 or 3 when you finally sit down to do your accounting to actually get it done. If I take that on for you and I keep that up to date for you so that you can then focus on selling your product, selling your service to your customers, and being available to your customers when they have questions, is it not likely that you're going to make back any money that you spend on me? I think it is. And so it's getting you to that point where you see, yes, it's going to cost me money, but in the end goal is to free me up to make more money. If that's your choice.
And I think it always comes down to time versus money.
Unfortunately.
I will tell you, for me to hit the pavement and to get out there with people and with my clients, that makes me money. Like having clients and getting that face-to-face time and making those appointments. What doesn't make me money is sitting behind this computer working on my web page to having and this is a bane of my existence right now, to having all these challenges with lead pages and with email marketing. And I'm so embarrassed to even say the amount of hours I've put time into doing this. Absolutely. Whereas it's like, I will never get an ROI back on this investment.
Unfortunately not.
Having someone else do it so that I can still hit the pavement, get more clients, coach more clients, and support them, as opposed to doing these little tasks that drive me insane. By far, it is worth to hire somebody, especially when you price yourself, let's say hourly. I sell by the packages.
Sure.
But anytime I leave the house, my price is $150 an hour when I go out to meet with people. And that's right. For my own head to put a value on. What's my return on investment? Okay, I'm meeting someone up for coffee. Well, did that really give me a return for that $150 for that coffee hour? And it's like, and that's how I kind of weigh my value out there, because I have a lot of value. But if you keep that at the top of your mind, and that's what I should do with my website, is like, you know what? That money is better spent on you, Joshua.
Not to brag, but yes, it is. Absolutely. I'll
Too
tell you
funny.
ladies a very quick story.
So
I
what
met
other question?
Sorry. Did we?
I think we lost Arlene. You mentioned you were going to have a quick story.
I was going to tell you ladies just a very quick story. I learned how to start my business from a business coach. And this particular business coach told us this story about a gentleman who had studied law, and he was going to open a legal practice. And when he opened his legal practice, he had a billable rate, as all lawyers do. He decided he was going to design his own business card. He was going to use a very popular website to do it. The problem is he's not technically minded. So it took him a few days to figure out how to set up his business card, how he wanted it to look. It was beautiful. Everything he wanted. He took it to her, and she basically tore it apart. She said there's too much detail on this, the background is wrong, all these different things he had to change. And he looked at her, he said, that took me days. And she looked at him and she said, why are you spending days on something that you could hire someone to do in hours?
Yeah.
How much money did you just leave on the table for yourself that could go towards making your life better because you decided you were going to do something yourself? It's not that I'm trying to take something away from somebody's business. It's that I genuinely want to help somebody succeed. And there's a financial reality to that. It's going to cost you money, but in the end, I like to think that it's valuable service for people. And the clients I've worked with have been so far very pleased.
That's amazing. And so, Joshua, what kind of led you? Maybe you could give us a little bit your background and your story into creating this kind of business for yourself, because ultimately I'm sure that you have your own why, your own reasons to creating this business. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Sure. Well, basically, I got Darlene back. Yay. Basically, my reasoning for starting my own business was an opportunity. I have a degree in hospitality and tourism management. I went to Lambton College in Sarnia, Ontario, for those that the area. And I went there and I took that program because I believed that people needed to see this world. I happen to be disabled, and so travel is not the easiest thing for me. But I had relatives that lived on the West Coast, and we went out to visit. Seeing the mountains and the ocean for the first time,
Nice.
I said, I have to help people find this. I have to help people see this. So I planned my high school, my college, be a travel agent. That's what I was going to do. And then we had some terrorist attacks in 2001, which left the travel industry in a very bad state. And I, being new in the industry, did not have a clientele to fall back on as a travel agent. So I ended up being downsized and proceeded to move around in different positions. I went from the travel industry to working in a financial services company, Citigroup, where I answered phones and information to advisors and their clients. And from there, moved on to Manulife and then on to a bank. Worked in credit cards for a while, all doing customer service and administration, something that I've been good at. I'm good with people, talking to people. So it came naturally to me. And one day, after having been downsized bank, I went with a friend of mine who I was volunteering for at the time as a admin assistant for charity. We went to a networking event in Mississauga. And in that networking event, I met someone who was a job coach, and she came over, introduced herself, and said, so what's your story? I told her, this job, that job, et cetera, and recently downsized, planning my next move, not really sure where that's going to go. She said, well, have you ever thought about being your own boss? I said, what do you mean? How would I do that? And she said, well, based on the skills you've accumulated over your time at these different companies, I think you would make a great virtual assistant. And I looked at her again and I said, what's that? And she said, well, basically that is administrative work, but they do it remotely. They don't have to go into an office. They don't have to punch a clock. Basically, you get the job from the client. You tell them how long it's going to take, provide them a date of it completed by, and so on and so forth. I said, I'm not sure. I've never started a business. I don't know how to do it. Seems kind of scary. And she said, well, think about it and let me know. I thought about it for about a week, and I said, you know what? I have skills. They are marketable. I can go out and I can find another job in the career path. It's not every day you get a chance to start your own business, and she had offered to mentor me in starting that business. No. So that was also an opportunity that doesn't come along every day. So I decided that yes, I was going to do it, and I started back in 2015, summertime. It's been about 3 years now, and it's not easy. It's a matter of going from being an employee and being told, here's what your job is, and do it from these hours, to basically being on contract and having to not only do the job, but also look for the next contract, the next client, the next whatever. So it's been interesting. It's not easy, as I said, but I really enjoy it. And I find that there are just certain clients that I'm drawn to, certain people. And I couldn't explain to you what that is or how
That's amazing.
Works. But there are just some customers that come to me and it's like, oh, I can help you. And let's make this work. So I have a number of different clients now. Franchisees, some are coaches. It all depends on who enters my life and what help they need. I'm very lucky to have a number of skills that I can offer to someone.
That's fantastic.
So how can we learn more about exactly who needs your services? Like, who are these people that are generally drawn to you?
Generally, it's people that have been in business for a while, and they're much like Darlene. They've realized, okay, there are things that I'm either not good at or I don't enjoy. I want to do them or take care of them for me. And they're understanding that they have to give those things up in order to have them done. I have a number of entrepreneurs who have come to me and talked to me and say, well, what do you mean you do them remotely? Like, how do I know you're on my stuff? Or
Yeah.
How do I know that you don't have any questions? And I say, well, you can always reach me by phone, always reach me by email, by text. I have one client that uses WhatsApp, and that's how we communicate when I don't see them at a networking event. So there are a number of ways to be in touch with me, and it's just about communication. Just communicate your needs and your timeframes to me, and I'll those timeframes. But in terms of the types of things I can offer to someone and the types of clients, I would recommend have a look at either my Facebook business page or my website, joshuawatsonva.com. And there's information there. Or one of the things I offer to people is actually the opportunity to sit down with them over coffee for an hour, half an hour. I usually say 30 minutes and then allow it to expand if conversation is flowing. And let's talk. Tell me what's on your to-do list. And more importantly, tell me what starts at the bottom of the to-do list, works its way up, and then gets pushed back down again. because those are the things that you clearly don't want to do and need to have done.
Clearly. I can think of a few of those tasks.
I once had a lady who sells a product at a farmer's market, and she was talking to me one day about her bookkeeping. And she literally broke down in tears talking to me about her bookkeeping. And it was heartbreaking because we're standing at her stall in the middle of the farmer's market. Yeah. This is not the kind of time you want to be having emotions come up. And it was just that visceral experience almost, where she says, you know, I'm an educated person. I know how to do things. I should be able to do this. I can't. And I said, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be something that you struggle with. There are people who can help you. Give her my card, and we'd known each other for more than one market season. I'd been coming to her stall for a couple of years at that point. And I just said, let's talk about this. Let me help you. There are ways that I can do it. And she said, thank you, and think about it. And she came back to me the next week, and she had her own business coach who said, you know what, that's great, but when are you going to see him once the market ends? Because you live in one place, he lives in another. So she said, yeah, you're right. And so she decided to go with someone more local, which I'm fine with. Because at the end of the day, even though I want to help everybody, it's irresponsible of me to try because I'm not right for it.
Yep.
So when she told me I've got someone to me able to do it, takes it off my plate, I said, that's good. That makes me happy. I'm disappointed you're not going to go with me, but I understand. And I know you're going to be a success. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so important, like you say, to have that connection and have that match. Because I think firstly, you know, I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't even realize how they can be supported.
Right.
We kind of take it all on ourselves, and just, you know, having this conversation here tonight, it's hopefully our way of also just showing people that, hey, there are solutions out there. It's like sometimes we just don't know exactly what those solutions look like. And
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's just a point of having that conversation.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, the one thing I would say to people is when you take on a virtual assistant, you want someone who's going to treat your business like their own, which is something I always try to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, they treat their business if they treat your business like it's their own, then you probably have the same aspirations, goals, and vision. And that's important. If you're going to take somebody into your business, they have to share what you want to achieve. So whether it's helping people achieve financial freedom, whether it's helping people with their well-being, or whatever the case may be. If you find someone that shares that dream, that goal, and
I just want to add quickly before we wrap up, I wanted to add on what I really liked. I saw Joshua last week in Toronto, and what I really liked was if he didn't know something of whatever program you're using or anything, he will research it. He will research it, do a mass learning, and then he knows it to take on to that business. So it's not up to us. Like, we don't have to figure out everything. We can just say, hey, Joshua, can you figure this out for me? And then he'll turn around, he'll learn that. But then you're not charged for his learning or anything. It's he's taking that on to then be able to assist you better within your business, which I thought was a great point to learn with you, Joshua.
I'm glad you think so. It's just something, I guess it's part of my ethics. I don't believe in charging someone for the time it takes me to learn something. If it's a skill that I'm going to be able to market to another entrepreneur, then it's worth my time to learn that skill, learn that program, learn that product. I'm doing some video editing for someone right now that I'm going to be able to offer people in the future. So I don't mind doing a work swap, so to speak, where I do some work for them, they're doing something for me in return. It's nothing monetary, but it's mutually beneficial for the two of us. I'm learning a new skill that I can market, and in return, they're a website for me. So it's a win-win for both of us.
And that kind of leads, that just leads me to kind of that one last question I have for tonight. Sure. What are the top 3 skills? Because right here, right now, I see resourcefulness. I see someone that I can count on that is not going to kind of ask me all these questions, that I can just be like, Joshua, I have this task. Here's the program. I don't know how it works. Can you figure it out? So for me, I can identify, number one, I want someone who's just going to be resourceful and figure it out. But could you just maybe wrap up, what are your top 3 skills as a virtual assistant?
Absolutely. Top 3 things that I offer to people right now are social media management, because nowadays you have to have a presence on social media. There's no way around it. First thing we do when we meet someone or we see a new company, we're like, oh, who's that? And we Google them. If you're not there, then people don't think you're legitimate. They go to your Facebook page and you haven't posted in 3 years because you're too busy going to trade shows and meeting your clients in their homes. They're not going to have a good impression of you. So I'm not a strategist by any means. But once you have a strategy and you talk to the strategist about what you need, then I can then take that and implement it so that you have a constant presence. The other 2 are email management, calendar management, so making sure that you're not double booked, triple booked, missing appointments, sorts of things. And closely behind that is CRM updates. So taking those cards that you have in drawer, putting them into a database or into CRM software so that you can actually market to your list and make.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hi, Darlene. I just got sort of the okay to join. Hi, Joshua. Can you all see me?
Yeah.
I can.
Joshua. So good to see you here this evening, Joshua. And I'm the right person to validate all that Joshua has said. I've been working with Joshua for several months now. And the thing I can really validate for him is his level of accuracy and reliability. And there's nothing like having somebody that accurate and that reliable, because so many times I've had to double check things with others and sort of remind them to do something. I've not had to do that with Joshua. If he says he's going to do something, he'll do it. And if he can't make the date, he will let me know. And I just love that he can enter 200 names and have them all be accurate. I just can't believe that. That's unbelievable. So
what I do.
You know, Joshua, just to have somebody as detail oriented as you are, and to be dedicated to the results that the client is looking for and not how you want to do it, is really a gift. And I think if nothing else, that's what clients will love you for, is the fact that you are really partnering with them and you hear what they need and you keep checking in. So to have a virtual assistant with that kind of attitude is really a big, big plus.
Thank you so much, Rosa, for coming on and validating exactly where Joshua is coming from. And in the interest of time, I just want to recap our talk. So we covered off the power of a virtual assistant and how necessary it is to leverage when you don't know all the stuff of being a and being an entrepreneur, business owner. We understand it's work. Any business owner, it's a lot of work, but really evaluate how you can leverage a virtual assistant, how you can leverage a Joshua into your work model and save yourself time. So I'll have all of Joshua's details put onto this live broadcast, put onto our video on it. And stay tuned for our next live cast is Sunday, July 2nd from 8:30, or Monday, July 2nd from 8:30 to 9. And we'll be interviewing another surprise guest. And remember, all of our links are below our video feed. Thank you so much, Joshua, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Stephanie and Rosa. And everyone, have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.